everybody, and welcome to Taking Control, the ADHD podcast on rashpixel.fm. I'm Pete Wright, and I am here with Nikki Kinzer.
Hello, Pete Wright. Hello, everyone. Welcome.
Nikki, it's a digital episode.
Yay!
I know
Love those.
I know you do. I know you lie to me every time we do these.
Actually, I learn something new every single time, so it's a good thing.
Well, I'm hoping that we were talking about organizing our summer trips this week. So it is a big digital episode talking about apps and services and things like that. But before we do that, head over to takecontroladhd.com. Get to know us a bit better, listen to the show right there on the website, or subscribe to the mailing list, where you can, right there on the homepage, and get an email with the latest episodes, a little summary every so often. Connect with us on Twitter or Facebook at Take Control ADHD, or call us. We love this. So fun. When you call 503-664-4ADD, and then we'll play your voicemail, your message, your thoughts on the show. We will share that. So you should totally do it.
Totally.
Join the ranks.
That's right.
Of those who have done it. And especially this week, because we're talking about your travel app tips. I would love to hear what you're using to organize your travel this summer. So that's the plan. Here we go. How do you travel, Nikki Kinzer? When you travel, like, how do you prepare to travel? What are your rituals?
Well, we have a vacation packing list.
Yes, we do.
That we put together a long time ago. So definitely I will actually pull that out and use it as sort of a baseline for things so that I don't forget, because there's so many details, So I definitely use that. And then I was just talking to somebody recently because we've got a few camping trips this summer that we have planned, and camping is not my favorite thing. But I'm a really good mom, and I do it for my kids. I solely do it for my kids. And as soon as they're old enough where they don't want to camp anymore, I'm not camping. And it's so funny because it's not that I don't enjoy the outdoors. I love being outdoors, and I love the scenery and the places we go. It's just all the work. There's so much work. And, I'm the one prepping the meals and doing the meals, and they clean up, but it just still seems like a lot of work. But
we spend, as humanity, thousands and thousands of years really working towards having fixed shelter,
right,
and climate control.
And we decided to not do that anymore.
I choose not to spit in the face of my ancestors. How about that?
Oh, I know. So, but to try to make it as
that's
easy
a joke,
as possible,
by the way. That's a joke.
I know. I get you. I hear
Good.
you.
I just
But I do have a camping checklist. That's where I was going with this.
Oh, you have we don't have a camping checklist on the website.
Well, no, we don't, and I haven't because it's a real personal one. It's very. It started off with just going on Google and looking for camping checklists, and then I ended up kind of designing my own for what my family needed, and the trailer, because we have like a tent trailer, so it's not fancy by any means, but there's certain crates that have certain things that go into the crate. So I mean, it's very personalized. Not to say that we won't ever do this, but it just hasn't been something that I've given to the public, right? Because it's just so personal to what our family needs.
Well, I don't know. You have a tent trailer and crates.
Well, we have crates,
further
and I have
along than we are.
Yeah, I have specific things that go in the crates, and so like on my list it says crate A. This is what goes into crate A, and this is what goes into crate B, and so it's something that I've kind of developed over the couple years that we started, right? Mm-hmm. Because the first year we started camping, I had no clue of what to do, and I was just sort of going off this general checklist, and then I was able to kind of go back at the end of the summer and add to it and make it more personalized, and so now it's definitely fine-tuned, but yet this is the dilemma I have, Pete Wright.
Go for it, because right now I can already see the title of this checklist. It's Nikki's ironic camping checklist.
Well, it is. So we borrowed some camping stuff from my sister and her family a long time ago, because they kind of stopped camping and they were like, oh yeah, you guys, use this. And so we're like, okay, so we use it. Well, her kids now are young adults and they wanted some of that stuff back. So at the end of last summer, we ended up giving back, some of the things that we borrowed. And so now we're in this like dilemma that I think that there's a lot of things missing from my
your
checklist.
crates. Yeah, from your checklist.
My crates and all that. Yeah.
Oh.
So we
and because you don't like camping all that much, it's hard to motivate to go replace those things.
It is. And I've got to like do an inventory and figure out what we gave back and what we need to go get and what do we need. And so this first camping trip of the summer, I'm really dreading because it is going to be a little bit more work than it has been in the past. But it's okay. I'm a good mom.
You are a good mom. That's the truth.
I'm going to do this for my kiddos, and I'm going to make it as, stress-free as I can. But anyway, I don't even know if I answered your question.
You did insofar as, however, we're not going to be talking about camping really at all.
Yeah.
But I do have an app later that will maybe make your journey more interesting.
Okay.
Toward your camping destination.
Well, let's get off of camping and get into the tech stuff.
Well, I'm talking more about like flights and cars and things. Like, how do you prepare to take a flight? For me, it was a couple of years ago. I just sort of, I really, how excited I get about paperless stuff. And so when the airlines first came around and said, hey, you can start checking in online and here's our app and you can do all this cool stuff. Man, I jumped on that in a hurry. And I was always the crazy guy who had my phone out, when everybody else still had their paper boarding passes. What are you doing? You don't have your boarding pass. That was me. I love being that guy, the crazy guy. And we're doing that again right now with Apple Pay. I Apple Pay everywhere, but I'm the crazy guy. Who's paying with his phone. It's like magic, magical Apple Pay dust. But so I get very excited about flying and renting cars and such, just because so many of the services are now, that you can use are now embedded in these really pretty robust apps. For example, I'm getting ready for a trip this week and I'm flying Delta. And so I downloaded the Delta app. It's been a while since I've flown Delta, but on the Delta app now you can do all the things that you normally would want to do. You can check into your flight. You can change your seat assignment. You can now store your credit card payment information in the app. You can actually take a picture of your credit card and store it as your payment option in the app, so that
that's amazing.
Well, it's really cool because it's really cool insofar as it will allow you to do it. It's not all that cool why you're doing it. You're doing it to pay for more baggage, and you got to pay to get an aisle seat. But it's really convenient to have that in there and not have to enter your credit card information every time you do that. You can actually you can buy your schedule reservations on the app now. I mean, the app is a really central sort of conduit to the airline and the airline experience. And all of the major airlines have invested heavily in their apps. And so if you haven't jumped on board and downloaded the app before your next trip, you should really do it. Enter your frequent flyer information and just get points every time you fly. It's sort of the low-hanging fruit of travel, is to start with the airlines app. Now, the same thing is true, and I don't have as much recent experience with Amtrak. You can download the Amtrak app and manage your train travel there as well. Obviously the rental car agencies, Avis Budget, the Avis Budget group, both Avis and Budget have really good apps. Hertz has great apps for Premier users, and all of the services that you could possibly want. Or let's say, let's go back to the power principle, right? The 80-20 rule. 80% of the services that you want are in that app. So you don't have to spend so much time on the phone, which is pretty handy. And you don't have to print out so much paper, which I really like. I know that everything is right where I need it. And most of these apps actually support Passbook, which is going to be changing in the next couple of months to Apple Wallet. Which is at least on iOS, it's the centralized sort of place for digital passes like movie tickets and airline check-in codes and things like that. And so you can have this one app that has all of your check-in information in one place. It's very, very handy. So that's what I'm thinking about flights and cars, but that just gets you to your destination. Right. What do you do when you get there? And this is a great time of year to hit the major national attractions like theme parks and resorts and things. And I think this is my rigorous empirical survey of friends and family as I was thinking about this topic. How many people who are going to, for example, Disneyland or Disney World, think about the app first? Do you?
Like the actual Disneyland app?
Right. Do you think about the app when you think, hey, I'm going to go to Disney World. I should download the app.
No.
Right.
No.
That's a real problem because the app is super, super cool. There are all of the major national attractions, right? From, Disney World to Universal Orlando, Universal Studios. They all have their own first party apps. They have developed these apps. They have maps of the facility. They have, you can, in case of the Disney app, you can buy your tickets, you can manage your passes. But even cooler, you can look at wait times on all of the apps. Or all of the rides and
wow.
Things. So you can go in and say, "Gosh, I want to go over and catch,
and it's real time.
Space Mountain." But it'll show you. Here's about how long it's going to be. If you go, it's a 60-minute wait. Now,
so do they have somebody like in the back end that's like?
Oh, it's all electronic, right? I mean, it's all tracking. It's all tracking and sensors and all that stuff.
And it's all real time. Like
right.
It's not okay.
Right,
wow.
That's the idea. But I will tell you, you can go one better. There are third-party apps. People who have developed apps who want to improve the experience and go crowdsource. So you can get the wait times app for these locations, and you can report how long the wait times are. While you are standing in line, so that other people who come up and look at the wait times app, they can say, oh, that's too long. These people have said this. It's similar to the model of Waze, the traffic app, where you can report, here's an accident.
Oh, right. Okay.
It's tracking your experience. This is in the category of let my life serve as a warning to others apps. It's my experience allows you to avoid my experience. And so that's this category of apps that you can get for these major attractions. You can see how your life will be impacted when you attempt to go to the major attraction. So, less than a specific app recommendation, it's just to put this on your checklist, on your travel checklist. Check to see if your destination has an official app or a third-party app to support the experience, because it's really, really useful.
That's a great idea. I would not have done that.
I thought so too. I think that's a really handy one. So now you have there's one last category of just travel apps and the granddaddy of this whole category is TripIt. Are you familiar with TripIt?
No. Mm-mm.
TripIt gives you a master itinerary. So you register you book all your travel, right? Your planes, your trains, your automobiles.
Hey, that's a great movie.
Am I right?
Uh-huh.
Those aren't pillows. You book all your travel, and you get these email confirmations, right? So you go over to tripit.com and you sign up for an account. It's free to start. You go back to your email and you forward all of your confirmations to your TripIt email address, right? You forward your confirmations to TripIt. TripIt dissects all of these confirmation emails and builds you a master itinerary of everything you need to do, every place you need to be, all of your, all of your seat assignments, all of your confirmation numbers, and it builds it in the order that you need to see it. And so it is a really robust application. They have it has a premier annual subscription fee that gives you seat notifications and seat assignment changes and flight changes, all that kind of stuff. But if you're just looking for the basic itinerary, you can just sign up. It's ad supported. On the app, like the iPhone app, you can pay 99 cents for ad free. So you can have the basic TripIt experience with no ads, or you can pay $49 a year for the premier features that give you all the additional features. So that's TripIt. It's if you are traveling a bunch this summer, TripIt is a great way to keep all of your travel organized. It's rare to run into a business traveler that hasn't run into TripIt because it is so useful for very frequent travelers. But don't forget, it's really useful for family planning too, even if you only use it when you're traveling during the summer. It's a pretty handy thing. Now, I have one more app to recommend, and this is a specific app I want to recommend. Well, sort of. You remember I love me some road trips.
Yes,
I do. I love road trips. And it was a few years back, I was trying to, I was doing this gigantic road trip around the West. I did these 5,000 miles in 8 days. And it was from Portland all the way down to San Diego, to Phoenix, back up through Utah, Idaho, and Seattle, and then down to Portland. So that was my big loop. It was great. But the one thing that I really struggled with was planning a big road trip like this and being able to keep track of all of my various waypoints, right? The stops along the way and how they impact my trip. And so I had started with Google Maps. I created a custom Google map, which you can do for free. You can log into Google Maps. You can create and save a map, which includes all of your locations and waypoints and things like that along the way, which it used to be kind of kludgy. It was a little bit tricky to manage. It's gotten better. And if you're in the Google ecosystem, it's really, it can be pretty sweet. But there is another app that I want to recommend. It's called In Route. In route. You route the enemy, right? Mm-hmm. Or you route the enemy. Do chickens lay eggs or lie their eggs? Yeah. Anyhow.
Is it potato or potato?
In Route, and this is a road trip app. It is an app that allows you. It gives you a map, and it says we're going to give you the best road trip from point A to point B, right, to your destination. And you can track your road trip between these destinations. You can look at these. You can see how curvy your route is. You can see, on each segment of your route, you can say, oh, that's too curvy. I don't like that. That's a crazy windy road. I get car sick. Let's find a different way. And it will help you adjust that. Right? That's what I'm thinking. You can also, in the little search box, you can say, hey, I want to search for all the national parks that are between here and there. And you can see a list of them. You see something you like, you tap on the little thumbnail and says, hey, do you want to add this as a waypoint? Yes, I do. And now your whole trip changes around this waypoint between your start and destination, and it reroutes you to the new best journey. You can look for points of interest. You can look for food. You can look for gas. You can look for camping. Campgrounds. You can look for anything that you imagine you can find. It makes managing the process of managing these waypoints along the way super, super easy. And since most in-car navigation systems do it really poorly, it's very cumbersome. This is one of those apps I recommend it where it offers a premium service for like $5, a one-time $5 upgrade, which gives you elevation, temperature, humidity, precipitation, and wind speed in addition to curviness.
Wow.
So you can see how, is it going to be, what's the wind on this? Am I going over a mountain pass? Is it going to be dangerous weather? That kind of a thing. You can optimize your waypoint order. You can say, what is the best way to get through all of these individual stops that I want to make? What's the most efficient way I can do that? You can view your routes in Apple Maps or Google Maps or Navigon or TomTom or Waze if you have those apps installed, so you can send all your waypoints to one of those third-party mapping applications. It just is it's a really slick little app. It also syncs over iCloud as well, so you can sync to other locations. And for me as a photographer, it allows you to export your maps as your journey as a GPX file. So you can take this GPX file and map it into photos that you've taken along the way in an app like Lightroom, for example. So if you are into putting geolocation data into your photos, which is another episode altogether, if you know what any of that means, you will really like En Route for your next trip. So that's what I've got. Isn't that cool? That's the one that I think you should think about for your camping trip.
Yeah, no kidding. I think so too. Especially with the windy roads, because sometimes it gets kind of scary to go through the mountains with that trailer. I
think so. I think so. And you might find yourself going further with an app like this, because you pretty much know your destination,
right?
All your local destinations. So pick someplace new and exciting and see what's along the way. See if you can find a giant ball of twine.
That's right. Or the biggest tree ever.
That's right.
That's awesome. Yeah. Amazing how times have changed. Oh. When you just had a backpack and a compass.
Yeah, that's right.
Now we've got all kinds of stuff. That's awesome. Well, thanks, Pete.
Well, you're
very
welcome.
Good. Good stuff.
Excellent. Thank you for listening and putting up with me talking about digital stuff again. And thank you, everybody, for joining us and downloading and subscribing to the show for free in iTunes. We sure appreciate it. And on behalf of Nikki Kinzer, I'm Pete Wright, and we'll see you next week on Taking Control, the ADHD podcast.